Jesus gave his disciple John a vision about New Jerusalem, as stated in the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation was written by John, and this book is about the end of the present world and beginning of the new earth and new heaven. Here I'm going to quote a verse from Revelation chapter 21, verse number 2. And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband. So when John said that the New Jerusalem is coming down out of heaven from God, what did he mean by that? And also when he said, made ready as a bride adorned for her husband, what is the concept behind that? So these two concepts I'm going to clarify in this video. Hello my dear brothers and sisters, welcome to Paradise. I'm Smart. So first, let's get to know the city of Jerusalem. The city of Jerusalem is an ancient city that is located both in Israel and in Palestine. Israel is known as a Jewish state, as 75% of Israelis are Jewish. Palestine, on the other hand, is known as Islamic State, as 93% of Palestinians are Arab Muslims and 6% of Palestinians are Christians. The city has religious importance both for Israelis and Palestinians, as believers of all three religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, consider the city of Jerusalem as a holy city. The followers of each religion have controlled all or part of the city for over 5,000 years. Why the city Jerusalem is considered as holy city for all three religions? For Jewish, the city is important because Abraham, the patriarch of Judaism, he nearly sacrificed his son Isaac to God in the city of Jerusalem. In 1000 BCE, King David, he established Jewish control over Jerusalem. For Christians, the city is important because Jesus promised us a new heavenly earth, which he called the New Jerusalem. As you know Jesus as Jesus of Nazareth. Nazareth is a city of Lower Galilee that is located 208 miles north of the city of Jerusalem in northern Israel. Nazareth was Jesus' boyhood home. The city is equally important for Muslim because in 7th century Prophet Muhammad, he flew from Mecca to Jerusalem on a mythical creature called Borak. Keep in mind that at the time, the only means of transportation that were available were animals. For him to have a flight travel from Mecca to Jerusalem was a miraculous event. It is also known that Muhammad talked to God and he ascended to heaven from Jerusalem. So these are the facts that ties all these three religions to the city of Jerusalem. Now, before I go and explain to you what did John mean when he said holy city New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven from God, and when John said made ready as a bride adorned for her husband, what did he mean by that? So Jesus, he often used the word bride when he was explaining to us the nature of our spiritual existence. He used the word bride to symbolize purity. Okay, so I know that there are many of you out there who consider yourself as the bride of Jesus, and you think that you are the New Jerusalem. When he said made ready as a bride adorned for her husband, okay, as a bride, pay attention, he made a simile, he made a comparison. As a bride, he did not say that Jesus' bride or the bride of Christ. He did not use those. He said made ready as a bride. So New Jerusalem is not a person, but it is a place. If you have read the book of Revelation, it is talking about the new earth, new heaven. So it's a place, not a person. So I wanted to clarify that and get that out of the way. For a clear understanding on the concept of who is the bride of Christ, please watch this video. And to learn about the bride of Jesus, please watch this video. Now let's talk about what did John mean by when he said the New Jerusalem is coming down out of heaven from God. So when he's saying that, that means this New Jerusalem is being created out of God. From God, is coming out of God. So now let's take a look at our relationship with God. So we are human beings, but beyond this human identity, we are spiritual beings. Each spirit is a divided part of God. In the beginning, before everything came into being, God was a single light, energy. And at one given moment, this single light exploded into everything seen and unseen, came into being. And that light of God also exploded into infinite numbers of spirit beings. And we spirit beings come to earth for the purpose of our spiritual evolution. When we come to earth, our spirit is formatted into a spirit body or a soul, and that soul wears a human body for the purpose of our earthly journey. So if that light of God, the one that is a spirit, then became into a soul, and that soul is within me and within you, then each one of us is that God. But we don't remember that we are God because we are here for the purpose of our spiritual evolution. It's very important that we understand, even though each spirit is God, but all the spirits combined is the supreme God, the one God. Each spiritual being is governed by the principles of that one supreme God. And we spiritual beings come to this earth for the purpose of our spiritual evolution. And the purpose of that spiritual evolution is that we get to know experientially that we are that light, or we are that God. We are evolving ourselves as a spirit. In order for us to evolve ourselves as a spirit, first we have to forget that we are spiritual beings. And to make that happen, there was a veil that was placed over our spiritual memory, making us forget that we are that God. And this allows us for us to have the negative journey on this earth. We are to go through the negatives. That is how we become aware the nature of negatives. And at one point in the lifetime that we come to earth, we are to discard all these impurities, all these negativities, all these negative experiences, and we are to return to our original position as the spirit being that we are, by recreating ourselves as a spiritual being through our thoughts, deeds, and actions. The earth was created by God. That means that the earth was created by all spirits combined. And each one of us is that spirit in a smaller version in the form of a soul, which also means that we are in our higher form created the earth. And on this earth, we human beings in our lowly form, we have created a world. The earth is a creation of us in a higher form, and the world is a creation of us in a lowly form. And when I say lowly, that doesn't mean that we are insignificant, but we are in a smaller form. Now let's take a look at how creation works. In our heavenly existence as a spirit, we think of something and that magically appears. But in our human form, when we think something, we need to also take actions in order for us to bring that thought into manifestation or to create that reality, to make that thought into a reality. This is how we create everything on earth. Now, although I keep saying we, but each one of us individually creating our own reality, and we are collectively experiencing this reality. And also we are doing this in agreement with each other. Wherever you are right now, if you look around you, all the things that are around you, you'll see that you are in the center of the universe, and everything that exists around you, they exist because you exist. That means you are, as an individual, creating these realities with your mind. Please watch this video to learn more as to how you create your own reality. Do you see? So how you are in charge of creating your reality. And how do we create that reality? We are spirits, and the make of our spirit is light and energy. Because we are energy, everything that we create, that's also create energy. As I mentioned earlier, that the creation begins with our thought. Therefore, when we think something, that creates an energy. Equally, our deeds and actions also create energy. Our positive thoughts, deeds and actions create positive energy. Conversely, our negative thoughts, deeds and actions create negative energy. Since we are in this world for the purpose of our spiritual evolution, we purposely have hidden our spiritual identity with a veil of forgetfulness, so that we can experience the opposite of our pure virtues or the negatives. And the way we create these negative experiences is through our thoughts, deeds, and actions, which essentially means that we are also creating negative energies. The prevalent negativity that we are witnessing around the world, it is a creation of us as we are going through these negative experiences. The spiritual evolution requires that we experience the negative, but we are not to hold on to these negativities up to the point of our physical death on earth. We are to surrender these negativities and return back to our light to complete our spiritual evolution. Because we have been failing to surrender our negative journey, we have created a world that is experiencing prevalent negativity. Let me remind you that each one of us individually contributing a part in creating this negative world. When we condemn the negatives, that is also experiencing negativity. We must find peace in our heart with all the negativities that are taking place around the world. By accepting and acknowledging their presence with grace, we gain the power to transmute the dark energy. For us to belong to the New Jerusalem or the new heavenly earth, each one of us individually need to create that heaven on earth. We will be ascending to a new earth during earth's final destruction, but we can only ascend to that new earth if we are prepared for that new earth. And how can we prepare ourselves for that new earth? As I mentioned earlier, that everything we create that through our thoughts, deeds, and actions. Therefore, each one of us need to individually create that earth through our heavenly or pure thoughts, pure deeds, and pure actions. Now you see how each human being which we are also God, discarding our negatives or impurities and recreating ourselves back to our purity through our pure thoughts, deeds, and actions, and creating that new earth. In other words, we, God, are bringing down the heaven on earth. In this third dimensional earth that we are currently on, in the beginning of our journey, before we had committed the negativities or the sins of the world, this world was heaven or pure. But now our earth reflects what we have created through our negativities. Since the negativities created negative energies, the earth too needs to cleanse herself from these negative energies, and she will discard her third dimensional realities or her third dimensional earth, and she will be ascending to the fifth dimension. When she ascends herself, we too need to ascend along her and continue our spiritual evolution in the fifth dimensional earth. Heaven begins from fifth dimension. The spiritual evolution is concluded when we have reached on the seventh dimension. Now you see how we human beings are creating that new Jerusalem or the new earth with our thoughts, with our pure thoughts, with our pure deeds and our pure actions that we are taking. With your pure thoughts, pure deeds and pure actions, not only you are creating a pure you, but also creating a pure world you wish to belong to. We are preparing ourselves for our journey into the new earth. When Jesus referred to New Jerusalem as a bride adorned for her husband, that new earth is a pure earth. It is the heavenly thoughts, heavenly deeds, and heavenly actions are being reflected in that new earth. So everything is very beautiful and pure. That earth is pure. In this earth, in this third dimensional earth, we are surrounded by impurities. In the new earth, you will not be seeing any impurities. It is pure, like Jesus said, it's pure as bride. The bride's gown is a white gown, free of blemishes, is clean and pure. He symbolized that new earth. He made a simile by saying that is as a bride. Okay, so it's not a person, it is a place. More precisely, it is the new heavenly earth that we are creating, and that's where we are going to be ascended to and continue our journey of our spiritual evolution. Please watch this video to learn more about the new earth. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified of any new video uploads. I love you all, and I will see you in my next video.